Tēnā koutou katoa, he pai ki te kororo, kia koutou I tēnei rā. Tālau lava, malo e lei, whakalofa lahi atu, kia rana, nisambula whanaka, and welcome to you all. When I saw all the parents standing, and the fathers in particular, I thought back to Father's Day and some of the cards that I got from my children. That was their voice. I thought I'd read you some of the cards. The first one, what I thought started off really well, said, "Dad, whenever I have a problem, I always follow your advice." And I thought, fantastic. I've got there as a dad. I opened it up and it said, "And I always ask Mum, Happy Father's Day." My teenage daughter, who's a bit of a handful, I've got to say, wrote a card that said, "Dad, about all that trouble when I was growing up." I thought, great, maybe I should apologise. She said, "I just want you to know I forgive you." And this one's from my young son, and excuse the juvenile, boyish humour. He couldn't wait to give it to me, he was so excited. He said, "Dad, did you know when a man's in his 20s he plays football, in his 30s he plays soccer, in his 40s he plays cricket, in his 50s he plays snooker, in his 60s he plays golf. Isn't it obvious, as you get older, your balls get smaller?" It's great to be here tonight to celebrate children and to hear children's voices. I've had the role, just get the first slide, I've had this role as Children's Commissioner. We just click the slide. For the last 15 months, and it's a terrific job. I really enjoy it. Nothing is better than working with children and young people and being, I guess, a spokesperson for them. Today we drove all around Otara. We saw the library, the youth library, the Tupu Youth Library. We saw the teenage parenting class. We went to Crosstown and saw the boxing gym and the gym and the art gallery. Kids were involved in all of it, and it was terrific. My message today is we've really got to do our best for our children. Do the next slide. There are 1.1 million children in New Zealand. That's under 18. That is a big group. Just about a quarter of our population. And they don't have a vote, and they don't have much of a voice, and it's our job to listen. I thought I'd show you a t-shirt tonight. In fact, I'll wear it. Some of the children, can you tell me if you know this story? It's a Palangi story, but you might know it. And if you've ever read the story of green eggs and ham, can you tell me, put your hands up, if you know the story of green eggs and ham? Put your hands right up so I know who's ever read it. Well, a lot of the children here have read it. A lot of the Kelston boys have read it too. That's good to know, boys. Well done. The story's about a young, I suppose you call him a Grinch or an animal called Sam, and he tries to persuade an old Grinch or an old guy to try green eggs and ham. You know the story, and the old guy says, "I don't like them. I don't like them in a house or with a mouse or in a box or with a fox. I do not like them here or there. I do not like them anywhere. I do not like green eggs and ham." And the young Grinch, Sam, goes on and on and on, and he asks and asks and asks. And in the end, eventually, the old guy tries it. And what happens? He says, "What? Yes, put your hand up." What does the old guy say? He says he He likes green eggs and ham. You know the story. He says, I like this. I like them, Sam, I am. I like them everywhere. Now, you know, if you're a young person, or even if you're a father or a mother, there's a good message in that story. It's a great message, actually. And one of the messages is try new things. When you go along the buffet tonight, try new food. Another message, and it's a good message, is if you're young, don't be afraid to speak up. Give your voice. Be courageous, be strong, be confident. We need to hear you. Not enough children's voices are heard in New Zealand in the context of the family. And to parents here, we can do a lot better. Family meals together and talking with each other is really important. It's a great thing to do. You know, when I was your age, I had a bad stutter. I could never speak in public. And if people ask, how are our children doing in New Zealand? It's a good question. How are our children doing? How are your children doing? If you put the next slide up, and the next slide, or the next clip, and the next clip, you could say 70, 20, 10. 70% of our children do really well. Children here tonight, maybe. We can be pleased about that. 20% do not so well and struggle, and 10% do really badly. And that 70, 20, 10% is a good analysis. If you do the slide again, we're leaving too many of our children behind. Too many of our children are being left behind. We want to do better for our children. And you know, if we do the next slide, I was thinking New Zealand's going to be very different in 2037. When all the children here are growing up in 20 years' time, 20% of our population will be Pacifica. Be a good group. 1 in 5 children will be Pacifica. The birth rate and fertility rate for Pacifica was 3.6%. You do really well. Lots of children and the population is growing rapidly. It will be 20% of our population. So we want all our children to do really well. Let me tell you another story. I was in the youth court in Manukau not so long ago, and this young person walked in, and he wore this t-shirt. I'll put it on for you. We'll put it up on the screen if you can, guys. This is the t-shirt that he wore. You can't see lots of t-shirts. But this one got me really thinking. Now, I'm not asking, but what would you say if someone turned up to you wearing that t-shirt? Now, it wasn't all that short. And this young boy, probably the age of you guys at the back, stood there, he threw off his hoodie, and there was the t-shirt looking at me. And I said, well, that's an interesting t-shirt. And he said, all good, boss. Then I said, well, it's early to call yourself a criminal. You haven't even been to court before. You haven't even admitted the charge yet. We're getting way ahead of ourselves. Slow down. At this stage, his lawyer was waving at me, wanting me to stop. Actually, we got a second copy of the t-shirt from the market in Otara. But I went on and said, well, I can't fault your theology, but you won't know what theology means. He says, I do. It's about God stuff. And I said, well, on the other side of heaven, I think there will be perfect youth justice. But today, I said, the bad news is, in the Manukau Youth Court, you're stuck with me, Judge Becroft. And he laughed, but not rudely, and said, well, I hope you get it right. I hope you get it right. That's a good question for all of us who are parents. Are we getting it right with our children? Are we getting it right? Are we putting them first? Are we giving them the best start that we possibly can? Are we listening to them? Are we taking time to hear them? And it takes effort. I know as a father, it takes time. They sometimes say love is a 4-letter word spelled T-I-M-E. Loving your kids means having time with them. But you know something? I didn't know where these words came from. And I was at Parapapa College the other day, and a young English teacher said to me, "But do you know where those words come from?" Now, some of the younger ones here will know straight away where the words come from. I didn't. Where do the words come from? Anyone know? Kelston boys at the back? It's not Shakespeare. It's not the Bible. It's more modern. Where do you think? Any ideas? Yes, sir. Tupac. It is the rapper Tupac. And you know, there are some really challenging words in his song. That's him writing. Some of you will know those words, and we'll put them on the screen. They're pretty rude, some of them. I won't read them out, and I can't even send them on the internet because I don't get through the firewall of the computer. But that's what Tupac was singing. And we don't want to have a New Zealand where people can use that song as their anthem. We want young people who have grown up, who are connected to their community, who can't talk about being separated or disadvantaged. And that's our challenge. Our job won't be done as parents until no child can sing that song. Let's go on to the next picture. I met this boy overseas in Seattle. And he said, "Take a picture of me." His name's Kane, and he was in that group of the 10% who were doing badly. And he said, "I'm doing much better." And today, he said, is Martin Luther King Day in the United States. And he turned around and said, "Take a picture of my t-shirt." So we'll put that picture up. And it says, "If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way." If I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. All of us can have that as our motto. Day by day, when we react and interact and speak particularly to children and work with children and young people, we can do things in a great way. That's a real challenge for us. But Kane said to me, there's another quote from Martin Luther King, and we'll put that up. And it was right at the buffet, just like we're going to have tonight. And it said, "Power at its best is love, implementing demands of justice. Justice at its best is power, correcting everything that stands against love." There is too much in our community in New Zealand that is unjust, that isn't fair. Too many children don't do well enough. Too many children don't get a fair go. Too many children have health and education problems. We've got to do better. So that's what we're here for. We're here to listen today, and we heard some great things from children. And we heard young people tell us what some of their issues were. And when you see me having dinner, come and talk to me. And we're here with two of our staff, Peter at the back. You just wave, Peter. Have a look at Peter. He's right there waving. Have a word to him. And Donna. You better stand up, Donna, so we know who Donna is. You come and talk to us. When I was at secondary school, my teacher said there's 3 things you'll never be able to do. Be a lawyer, a teacher, or a minister. Actually, they're the 3 things I most like to be involved in, because I had such a bad stutter. And you know, all of us struggle with something. All of us find it hard to do as well as we wish we could. Every kid here will have something they struggle with, every adult. You ask your mum and dad, they might tell you they find things they wish they didn't have to struggle with. But we can support each other. I'm really excited that our 1.2 million children can do really well. We've got to do that in our country. Nothing's more important than valuing our kids. So we can start tonight, talk around our tables, talk about, there's a quote on every table that I think is different. We could talk about what that quotation means. I'm really pleased to be here. Thank you for the time. I lived for 10 years in Mangere. I had a 275 phone number. But I'm here and what I'm told is Otara, the centre of the universe. I'm glad to be here, so thank you. Keep up all the good work. Keep up the children who are here. Keep up telling your parents what your big issues, what your concerns are, what you want in life. And parents, listen. Listen, listen, listen. Thank you very much. Enjoy the meal tonight. I've been thrilled to be here. And Tonga Samoa on the weekend. I can't say who should win, can I? Thank you.